Luke Bryan performed at the Blossom Music Center in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, on the evening of July 11, 2025, a steamy summer evening. He brought his signature charm and contagious enthusiasm to the venue, which was completely packed out. This performance was part of his Mind of a Country Boy tour, with a high-octane, sing-along spectacular that had the 19,100-strong crowd buzzing with joy. The Entertainer of the Year, who has won the award 5 times, is famed for his ability to transform concerts into communal festivals. Bryan demonstrated once more why he is considered to be a cornerstone of contemporary country music by performing a setlist that was densely filled with classics, meaningful moments, and a bit of his charming goofball demeanor. The audience moved, sang, and drank up a night that represented the heart and soul of a country lad as he danced across the stage while wearing his black cap with the rear turned up and cowboy boots. An evening spent under the glowing moon. The venue issued a social media warning about heavy traffic for the sold-out event, which heightened the expectation of the fans who were arriving at Blossom Music Center. The atmosphere at the venue was electrifying as the fans arrived. Blossom Music Center announced on their website, "We are expecting a sold-out crowd for Luke Bryan tonight," urging fans to arrive early for the performance with Luke Bryan. As a result of the efforts, the amphitheater was filled with people who were eager to experience a night filled with music and memories. A dazzling full moon illuminated the stage as Bryan ascended the stage. He began the evening with the anthemic songs "Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye" and "I Don't Want This Night to End," thereby establishing the mood for a celebration that had the atmosphere of a backyard party on steroids. The Mind of a Country Boy tour is a celebration of Bryan's rural upbringing and the endearing qualities that he possesses. The tour is named after a piece from Bryan's album of the same name, which was released in 2024. Fan favorites like as "Kick the Dust Up" and "What Makes You Country" were included prominently on the setlist, which consisted of 18 songs that were repeated from his performance at Blossom in 2024. Both of these songs caused the audience to celebrate and clap along with them. The Skoog sisters from Mansfield, who were attending their first Bryan show, were among the people who were excitedly anticipating the song "Country Girl, Shake It For Me," which would be the tune that would bring the night to a close with a variety of dance and song performances. There was a tangible excitement among them, which mirrored the energy of the eclectic crowd, which included both old fans and newbies who were taken up in Bryan's contagious mood. A party that is rock and roll and country. Bryan's talent to combine rock and roll with country music was on full show, notably during a magnificent rendition of his popular song "Kick the Dust Up," which he released in 2015. "Oh My God," before starting into a rendition that contained a guitar riff that was inspired by the 1970s, lengthy banjo plucking, and funky keyboard grooves, he screamed out, "Who is into a little rock and roll on a Friday night?" The song reached its climax with a humorous and dissonant jam, during which the band appeared to unravel the track before bringing it to a triumphant end. This was the moment that critics later referred to as the musical highlight of the evening that they performed. As Bryan jumped across the stage with a smile, thoroughly enjoying his role as the evening's ringleader, his self-aware and uncomfortable dancing just contributed to the charm of the performance. Bryan's progression as a musician was put on display through the setlist, which featured a carefully crafted combination of new songs and old favorites. Song titles such as "Country On" and "Love You Miss You Mean It," the latter of which is expected to become one of his most successful up-tempo songs, elicited enthusiastic applause from the audience, who sung along with every word. Bryan's new album, Mind of a Country Boy, which was published in September 2024, featured a number of tracks that reflected his talent for expressing the everyday joys and hardships of rural life. Some of these tracks were "Closing Time in California" and "Pair of Boots." There are a lot of references in there that your average person could be like, "What's he talking about?" Bryan remarked about the title track. "There are a lot of references in there. That is genuine, not pretentious country stuff because I believe that people can really relate to it." There were times when things did not go according to plan, and Bryan's self-deprecating humor shined through at one of those rare instances. In effort to create a more personal piano portion, he attempted to perform covers of songs such as Faithfully by Journey and Rocketman by Elton John, but the performance was unsuccessful. He hurried through the song Faithfully, forgetting the lyrics, and he made a mistake while playing the piano during the song Rocketman. "Oh, hell with it, I'm screwing it up," he joked, laughing off the situation with a few laughs. Despite the fact that the clunker was a failure, the crowd rallied around him and sang along in an effort to salvage the situation. The audience's passion for Bryan had only grown deeper as a result of his unpolished authenticity, which consisted of his willingness to laugh at himself. This demonstrated that Bryan's attraction rests not just in his hits, but also in his shortcomings. Any earlier glitches were made up for by the brief encore, which began with the rousing Country Man and concluded with the Skoog sisters' wish being granted, "Country Girl, Shake It For Me." There was a collective release that felt like the right way to end the night, and it was accompanied by the crowd's spontaneous dancing and singing. As fans emerged from Blossom, some of them were swaying due to the boozy atmosphere. The emotion was unmistakable. That's my kind of night. A platform for up-and-coming artists. A trio of up-and-coming musicians, including Alana Springsteen, Larry Fleet, and Dylan Carmichael, shared the stage with Bryan, who lived up to his reputation as a mentor. DJ Rock, who kept the atmosphere high between sets, was also there. It is a defining characteristic of his tours that he is dedicated to producing new talent, and the Blossom performance was not an exception to this rule. The set that Bryan performed was supplemented by the soulful vocals of Springsteen, the gritty authenticity of Fleet, and the traditional country sound of Carmichael, which provided fans with a glimpse into the future of the genre. In a press statement issued by Live Nation, it was said that for many years, Luke has lifted up and mentored new artists by offering them the opportunity to perform in front of his concert audiences. The audience's enthusiastic response to the openers demonstrated their gratitude for Bryan's generosity. The thought process of a country boy. The title of the tour, which was derived from a song that Bryan and the Peach Pickers had collaborated on writing, shows the profound connection that Bryan has to his rural background in Leesburg, Georgia. According to him, this song not only demonstrates what can be going through my mind, but it also demonstrates what the majority of us country boys think about on any given day. Our love for the girl, the great outdoors, living life, and not rising above our upbringing. From the set design that evoked a rustic barn to the poignant anecdotes that Bryan told in between songs, this sincerity was there throughout the Blossom performance. An additional personal element that struck a chord with the audience was provided by his recollections of his parents' peanut farm, as well as his stories about fishing with his wife, Caroline, who was instrumental in naming the tour. The ability of Bryan to connect with his audience is demonstrated by the fact that his career has already spanned over 21 billion global streams and 30 singles that have reached #1. The fact that he was a judge on American Idol with Katy Perry and Lionel Richie, which coincided with the commencement of the tour, has only served to widen his reach and introduce his music to new listeners. His sexy swagger and positive attitude created a night of unity and celebration at Blossom, despite the fact that he remained the same goofy country boy that fans had loved for nearly 20 years. While the audience was leaving Blossom Music Center, the reverberations of Bryan's performance continued to reverberate. The Mind of a Country Boy tour was more than just a concert. It was an experience that brought together people who were not familiar with each other through the medium of music, which is a universal language. In a piece that was published in the Tribune Journal, the author stated that it is a moving and quite telling testament to Bryan's ability to unite a mass of strangers through the beauty of his music. For country music enthusiasts like the Skoog sisters, it was a night filled with dreams that came true, and for Bryan, it was another opportunity to do what he enjoys doing the most, performing, connecting with others, and honoring the mind of a country kid. The Blossom victory cemented his status as one of the brightest lights in country music, and it delivered a night that was, in fact, his kind of night. He is already preparing for stadium gigs in Atlanta and Chicago.